Hey guys, today we're going to talk about t-shirt yarn basket making level 2. Welcome to Fibers with Miss Robinson. So this is a level 2 project because we've already done a level 1 project made with cups. This time you're going to be making your own warp. So in order to make the frame for your basket, you're going to use some cardboard that's thin cardboard from a package of something that you were going to throw away possibly. In this case, I'm using an old box from some Bona wipes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm marking with my ruler every inch. And I'm doing 3 sets of those marks. And those 3 lines will help me line my ruler up pretty straight. When you line your ruler up with those 3 dots that you've made, hold it with your thumb and pointer finger. That's going to keep your ruler pretty steady so that you can draw your lines straight and firm. Once all my lines are drawn, now I'm ready to cut. I'm going to use the lines that I've made to cut pretty straight strips. And some of them are going to be thicker or thinner, but I can decide which ones I want to use and which ones I don't want to use for my basket once I'm done. These pieces are going to create the base of my basket. So I'm going to weave them together. It gets a little tricky, they slip and slide, so I decided just to tape my vertical ones onto the table. You could use more than this, but you can see that I'm using 4 pieces of vertical strips. So now we're going to do the horizontal pieces. You're going to weave each piece over, under, and then the next row has to start opposite. So I went over first here, so the next one's going to go under first. If I do one that's the same, it's going to go over top of the previous one. So this time I have to go over the first one, under the second one. And if you do it correctly, you'll see it almost makes like a checkerboard pattern. And I'm only going to do 4 horizontal pieces to make the bottom of my basket. I'm going to scoot it toward the middle. You can see my little boy's trying to help me. I'm going to scoot it to the middle, and notice how I put all the print on one side. I just tried to glue a little bit on each edge to keep it down overnight, and then I'm just going to put something on it heavy and let it dry overnight and come back to it tomorrow. So once that's dry overnight, you're ready to start your basket. What I'm going to do, you can see that I flipped mine over. I didn't want to use the print side. I wanted the white as the inside of my basket, and the t-shirt yarn is going to cover the outside. So I just flipped mine over and I'm using the white side as the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and lift the ones that are under. You can see if it's under the strip that's on top, if there's a strip on top of it, I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to kind of fold it so that I get the shape of the bottom of my basket. I'm only lifting the ones that are under, and those are the ones that I'm going to use to start weaving with my yarn. So now I'm ready for my t-shirt yarn, and I'm going to go under all these ones that I've lifted up. I'm going to go under, over, under, over. And you can see lifting those up helps me know where to go under. But when I get back around, because I've got an even number of warp threads, I've got 4 on each side, so that gives me 16. It's a problem. I need an odd number in order to weave in the round. Otherwise, it's just going to be going under the same ones and over the same ones. So at first, to fix the problem, I just tried at the very corner to skip one. So I would go over and then maybe under, over, under. And after I did that a couple of times, I didn't like the way it looked. It started making a triangle in the corner because I did the skipping around the corner every time. And so I kept going around the basket, but then I got smart. So you can see the triangle of what my yarn was doing where I skipped. But instead of doing that, I decided to split one of my wider warp pieces into 2. And when I cut that one into 2, that gives me 17. So next time I would begin that way. Go ahead and split one of those into 2, and then you will have an odd number. So now when I go around, my pattern will be complete. Over, under, and then next round it will be the opposite because of that odd number. So keep going around. You're going to go over, under, And as you go, you're going to keep scooting that weft thread to the bottom. I didn't want any of my cardboard to show, so you can see there's some space there, so I would just take my fingers and slide it down every time. So you're going to keep going, weave, scoot, turn it, weave, scoot, turn it. I'm going to fast forward this because it does take a little while. It's something that you will want to maybe stop and start, come back to. It's fine to do that, but just take your time and have a good time. Now, as I was going, one of my warp threads was a little shorter than the others, and so I got close to the top. I kind of ran out of room on it, so I needed to kind of figure out how I was going to end it. And you can see that one right there is the shortest, so I'm going to use it to make all my other ones the same as it. And so what I did is I just used the scissors to cut a pretty straight line across using that one, and from each side I went out to try to make it pretty even. You could always lay it to the side and draw this line first if you didn't feel just comfortable just doing it, but that gave me a pretty even top. I didn't worry about it being perfect. After your warp threads are pretty even, you're going to keep weaving a little bit more to get closer to the top. We want to go so that there's no more cardboard showing. And you can see you're going to punch a hole at the top of each warp, and you're going to actually be sewing into those little holes. So don't get too close to the edge. I just came in just a little bit from the top edge and then punched a hole toward the middle of each warp, even my little tiny ones that I cut in half. So after that, I kept weaving a little further up because I wanted most of that cardboard to be covered. And so I am scooting and weaving, making sure that that weft thread is really tight and pushed tight so that you can't see any of the white through that. And once I'm done weaving really close to the top, once I kind of run out of room, I am ready to wrap my yarn around the top edge. And you'll see I'm going to go around it probably 3 times, 4 times. So I ended up going around 5 times, and then I'm going to clip them to the edge with clothespins so that it doesn't come off. So with the extra yarn, you're going to go through each hole at the top and then under and around those pieces that you've wrapped. Through that hole, kind of work it through, and then I'll go to the next hole, go through the hole, under the wrap stuff, and around the wrap. You're kind of sewing this in place so that it holds at the top of your basket. It'll make it look finished. You're going to keep going with this pattern all the way around the top of your basket. So I try to get it up close, but obviously I did not do very well with the camera angle, so I'll apologize for that. But at the very end, when I got back to the beginning of where I started wrapping, I just took the tail, wrapped through that next hole one more time, and then I just wove it in and out where my weaving was below my wrap. And so I just kind of make it follow the pattern that was already there. And then I'm just going to take my fingers and kind of slide everything up or down to kind of fill any gaps in the yarn. Once I was satisfied that everything was spread out where it needed to be, it was ready to go. And so you could use it for a gift, you could put some candy in it and use it as a candy basket. You could even get a little cup or a glass jar and just put a vase of flowers inside.